So this is like the fourth time I've tried to make this video, which is why it's like 8 o'clock at night. I got frustrated and I quit for a little while. Anyway, so I'm gonna try this again, and hopefully this is the one I actually sent out. So, what are functions? We went over some of the stuff in class today, but I want to go ahead and go over it again. So the example that we have here is like a rectangle. To get the area of a rectangle, you do the you do the width times the height. And that's going to give you the area of the rectangle. So the example that we have here is they're declaring a variable using the word const. And the name of the variable for each one is, as you can see here, width, height, and the area is going to be the width times the height. And whenever we do console log for the area, it should give us 60, right? So let's go ahead and practice that the best way to kind of get, as you can tell, I'm blind. The best way to run this stuff and it become, a second nature is to do it on repeat. So let's practice this. So we're going to go ahead and declare the width equals 10. The height equals 6. The area equals width times height. And we are going to do console log area. It says it's undefined. This is the error I keep getting, and I have no idea why. I'm going to pause this again. Okay, I somewhat found the reason, what's happening. I just don't understand why. So whenever I do console log area, and it shows me 60, which is the answer, but it only shows me if I'm selecting, if I got the info selected. And I don't know why. So it's working. And there were many times that I've tried to make these videos where I was getting that undefined error. I have no idea why, but if you get the same error, click on info and you should see it. Okay, so let's move on. So what if we had 3 different rooms that we wanted to lay carpet down, for example, and we wanted to create a function that's going to help us determine the area for the room. We played with that a little bit in class, like if all 3 rooms had the same variable names of width and height, then that's going to throw an error message. So let's go in here. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. So let's go back into VS Code. I was just typing up some code in there instead of making you watch me do that. First, I'm going to go ahead and open up this file in Live Server. So make sure you click on the file down here in the list of individual files, not up here in Open Editor, but down here in the list of files and folders that you have, right click on it and open with Live Server. And this is going to open up an actual local server. And there's the IP address and there's the name of the file. Let's see. And I have this heading in here, so that's why you see learning about functions in there. So let's go back into here. Let's hit Control-Shift-I to open up our console. And make sure you're selected on info. Okay, if I don't know, some reason I was selected on something else, and that's where I was creating the error. Okay, Okay, so where was I? So make sure you're in the info, and I'm going to go ahead and clear this and see, what do I have here? So this is going to generate an error because same thing as we discussed in class. I'm using const to declare these variables, and these variables have the same variable names. So it's not going to like that. So whenever we try to call the area, and why is this, like, what is it doing here? Decided it doesn't want to work all of a sudden. Okay, there we go. And it's going to create an error. It says it's not defined, which isn't necessarily accurate, but it's just saying that, but there is an error. So if I comment this out and save it, and I just do console log area again, it'll generate 60, which is the correct answer. And same thing if I commented that out. Console log area is 36, which is the answer for this one. So the way we fixed this in class was we just renamed it. So I'm just going to put a 1 just to save me some typing. And what we did in class was, named it more descriptive variable name, like with a rectangle and stuff. So if I do console log of area and area 1, it should be fine. So there's area, and then there's area 1. Okay, so it works because they have different variable names. Okay, so what's this got to do with functions? So we have we're going to lay out carpet in 3 different rooms. I'm going to redo the carpet in the living room, the hallway, and the bedroom of my house. I could do this, 3 different times, one for the bedroom, and then do another one for the hallway, and then do another one for the bedroom. But I don't want to do that because it's a lot of typing, and it gets cumbersome, more prone for typos, and all of that good stuff, right? So I want to avoid, even though this works, I want to avoid what I have here right now, because there's a better way of doing that, and the better way of doing that is with functions. Okay, so that's why we want to use functions. It's because we can just save the code, save what we wanted to do, the computation of width times length, and to give us the area without having to do a separate one for the living room, the hallway, and the bedroom. Okay, so that's the purpose behind functions. So how do we do that? How do we declare a function? So remember, in variables, we were able to with variables, we could declare a variable with one of 3 keywords: var, lat, or const. Okay. With functions, we use the keyword of function to create a function. Okay. So say we want to name create a function, so we use the keyword function, and then we're going to give it a name. The name is referred to as the identifier. Okay. And we're going to, let's just use this example, greet world. It's got to have the parentheses after it. So greet world, open and close parentheses. And then we're going to do, then you need the open curly bracket. And we're just going to follow this example here. Whatever code we want to run, and then the close curly bracket. So let's do that. I need a semicolon. Yeah, I need a semicolon there. Okay. And then I think I need a semicolon. No, I don't need a semicolon there. Okay. Okay, so we declared that function by using the function keyword, the name that we're giving the function, and what we want the function to do. So this part right here is considered the function body. This is the declaration, and this is the identifier or the function name. Okay, so function keyword, the identifier, followed by parentheses, and the code, the function body. So we declare a function, but nothing's happening with it until we call upon it. So all we do when we declare it here is bring it into existence. Okay, my son came in, so I forgot where I was at. So we declared a function, we declared its being into existence, and now we need to call upon it. So the function declaration does not ask the code. So all to do something, to run, we just declare its existence. And to actually use the code that we declared into existence, we need to execute it. So to call a function in your code, you type that function name followed by the parentheses. Okay, so let's see, what were we doing here? We were doing greet world, and what we wanted to do, what's going to do, is console log hello world. So let's get back in here. So we just need to do greet world, and it console logs hello world, which is correct, which is what we want. And let's see. Boom, 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 boom. So we declared the function with the word function. We gave it a name, which is get greeting, with the parentheses, and we had it do something. The thing we had to do was console log. We could also had it do something. We can do more than one thing in here. So we can do a return, and this is actually going to return us a string of hello, lovely world. Hit a semicolon after that, save it, go back in here, and clear greet world. Okay, so we have two things that happened. One was a console log of hello world, and this one was just a string it's going to print of hello lovely world. So if we'll just leave that alone. So one thing was a console log, and the other one was actually writing out onto screen what we wanted to say. It gave us a return of hello lovely world. So we can do more than one thing on with a function. So let's declare some variables. So we're going to use let. We're going to say let earth equal 3. I'm not even sure what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to come up with something. Let sun equal 5. And let's see. Trying to make sure I'm doing this right here. And if I go down into here and I want to do console log Earth plus Sun. And do greet world. Okay, so what did I do? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's one. It's freezing on me again. Damn you. That's one. And that's another. Where's my other little console? Let's try this. Let solar system equal Earth plus Sun. Solar system. I wonder if it matters on the order. Now I'm just playing. And this is really the best way to learn. You just gotta play. Okay, evidently the order matters. I did not know that. So when I did console log of hello world, and then Earth plus Sun is solar system, 3 plus 5 equals 8. And we did actual return to string of hello lovely world. So you can do multiple things within the function body. Okay. So now let's talk about parameters and arguments. Okay. And some functions can take inputs and use the inputs to perform a task. So whenever you're declaring a function, we can specify its parameters. Parameters allow functions to accept inputs. Parameters allow functions to perform a task using the inputs. And parameters are used as placeholders for information that will be passed to the function when it's called. Pause this for just. Okay, so now we can actually put some parameters in there. So we declared our function with the word function. The name of our function is calculate area. And instead of just empty parentheses, we're going to put some parameters in there like width and height. And then we're going to do what our function body is going to say is console log width times height. And okay, so let's play with that a little bit. I'm going to comment this out. Okay. So the example was, okay, function calculate area, width, and height. Function calculate area. And instead of empty parentheses, we're doing width and comma space height. So you don't put quotes in here. You don't put anything else in here except for the comma to separate the two. And then you do the open curly bracket. We're going to do console log width times height. And I think I need a semicolon after that. And we're going to go ahead and go back into here. And we're going to run calculate area and see if that works. It says not a number. What did I do? I didn't give any numbers. That's what I did. Okay, so let's give some numbers. Okay. Let's give it some width. Let width equals 10. Let height equal 5. Calculate area. I got another error message. Oh, up here. So even though I'm way down here, it still sees us. So let's give this something else. Let's name it 2, just to save me some typing. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Calculate area. It still says not a number. Why does it say not a number? Boom, 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 boom. Let's see where I'm going wrong here. Let's go back into here. Evidently, I'm missing a step. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. So that's wrong. So in the diagram above, you calculate the area. Okay. Compute the area of the rectangle based on 2 inputs, width and height. The parameters are specified between the parentheses as width and height and inside the function body. They act just like regular variables. So that's where I was getting mixed up. I was thinking I had to declare the variables outside, and I don't. Width and height act as the placeholders for the values that they will be multiplied together. So this is the width and the height that they're saying are going to be placeholders. And you'll see here in just a second what they're talking about. So when calling a function that has parameters, we specify the values in the parentheses that follow the function name. So instead of width, I should have put 10, and then in the height, I should have put 5 instead of declaring it like I did here. Like I did here, that's wrong. So when calling a function that has parameters, we specify the values in the parentheses. Okay, the values that are passed to the function when it is called arguments. So arguments can be passed to the function as values or variables. Okay. So let's try this again. So I'm going to call upon this, and I'm going to give it the parameters that I want for the width and the height. So I want to do calculate area. I want to do this. Hold on. Let me get the other screen. Back in here. Calculate area. But instead of using empty parentheses, I want the width to be 10. And you can see it comes up, and the width and the height is going to be 5. And it comes up 50. Okay, so that works. And if I wanted to calculate the area, and the dimensions were 3 times, or 3 and 50. It will come up with 150. So I only had to create the function once, and then I just put the parameters of what I'm looking for, which in this case is the width and the height, and it'll do the computation for me. Okay. So in the function call above, the number 10 is passed as the width and 6 is passed as the height. We played with that a couple of times. And notice that the order in which arguments are passed and assigned follows the order that they were declared. So let's do this again. Calculate area. So what my first number is going to be, because of the way it was declared here, is width first and then height. I need to make sure that's how I do it in here. We're just multiplying, so it's not that big of a deal, but there are times that it could be a big deal, you know, what the order is. So let's do this example. If I did 50 and 3, it's going to be the same answer because it's just multiplication, but there are times where the sequence of the order does make a difference. Okay, so here, so we got variables, couple of variables declared, rect width and rect height, and they're initialized with the values for, okay. By using parameters and calculate area can be reused to compute the area to any rectangle. Okay. So, let me get some stuff typed up instead of making you watch, and be right back. Okay, I'm back. So we're gonna run some lines of code, some functions, and just practice. So what we have here, we declared a function. It's named room area. The parameters are width room and height room. Just as a heads up, all this is commented out, so nothing here should interfere. We are going to generate a console log of this is the area size needed for the carpet, just a blanket statement. And the computation it's going to do, it's going to return the whatever numbers that we're going to put in the console log here in just a second, which represents the width room and the height of the room, and it does have to be in that order. Again, this was named room area. Just want to go ahead and clear this. So room area, we would give some parameters of, say, the width is going to be 20, and the height is going to be, I know height is probably not appropriate for carpet, just deal with it. I don't feel like changing all my things. And do that, and it's going to give me the console line of this is the area size needed for the carpet, and it's 8,000, which is 20 times 400. So say we want to, this should work. Hopefully I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot here. Because we say we wanted to do height of the room divided by width of the room. I don't know why we would, we just are, okay? And so let's do this again. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Okay, and I shot myself in the foot. That's not working. Okay. Okay, evidently that doesn't work. I was just trying to be curious. That might work on something else, but I'm going down a rabbit hole. I don't need to go down a rabbit hole. It's okay to be curious. Just, learn when it's okay to call it a day. And that's on that one. I'm going to call it a day. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one. So this is for the living room. So I got a comment out right now. Very similar to what we have here. We got a function. It's called living room area, and we're still using the same parameters. The parameters don't have to change. Okay, so we're going to return. Everything else is the same. And this is going to be a console log that this is what's needed for the living room. So let's go ahead and make sure that's saved. And what was called living room area. And let's call upon that living room area. And let's do 20 and 500. Okay, it gives me 10,000, but my console log's not appearing. So what evidently is an issue is the order. So if I take this out and put it on before I do the return, it'll work. So let's try it again. Okay, and then it produces my console log and the output of the number that I was wanting. So let's do same thing for the hallway. Okay, so we got our function, we got hallway area, we got the width of the room, the height of the room, it's going to return, all that's still the same. So we already know this is going to generate an error because of the fact that it's after the return. So let's go ahead and move that up and see what happens now. And it was called hallway area. Yeah, hallway area. Okay. So we're going to go to hallway area. Yeah. Okay. So something's not working. You can see how it's not like automatically filling stuff in for me and stuff. And I'm getting an error message. So let's do a little investigating here. So one thing that's an indicator, if you didn't already see it, is these little red squigglies. That's usually a big red flag. Okay, so I mean something's wrong. So you can do double quotes or single quotes on this console log, but you can't do a single quote and then an apostrophe because it doesn't know the difference. So, and then the fact that I didn't close this, that doesn't help either. So what we can do to fix this is to just take out those single quotes and make them double quotes. And hallway, see now it's helping me, it's finding it. So then I can just do 220 times 600. Okay, this is what's needed for the hallway and returns the value I'm looking for. I think, and again, this might be shooting myself in the foot here again. Another way you can do it if you really want single quotes for whatever the reason, and you still need to use an apostrophe because you're just being difficult. I think if you do a /, no, that didn't fix it. There's a way that you can, that might be it, /. So it's under backspace key, and then it's the /. You can apply that before the apostrophe, like you see right here. And hit refresh. Okay, and it still works. So if you want to be difficult and insist on single quotes and apostrophes, you can use that / as needed. If you need to do it that way, that's fine, but this is I prefer just to do double quotes. There's no strict rule on that. If you get with an organization and they have strict rules on single quotes and all of that stuff, then you follow their rules. But for our class, there are no strict rules. You do what works. Let's see. So the last one is area for a bedroom. Okay. So we already know this is we need to move this up. And the way that you can move it up without actually having to copy and paste it is holding Alt and the up arrow. And you'll see that it just keeps going up in lines, up, 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 down, 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 down. Just hold the Alt key and the up or down arrow button. Um, so, okay, that's fixed and everything looks fine, so let's save it. And bedroom area, bedroom area, let's give it a number. Let's see, and you see, how it's telling you what you're typing in. You know, what the parameters are that you're looking for, the width of the room and the height of the room. And this is what's needed for the bedroom. Mhm. So that's how some of the ways that we can play with functions and call upon those functions, use parameters and arguments and all that good stuff. So I'm going to call it on this video. There is an assignment for you to practice. I haven't prepped it yet, so that's going to be a separate video. Okay. So that's it on this one.